guys, it's me Erica, and so today I thought I might talk about how I get into anime. And though I've touched on this subject before in my previous videos, I don't think I've made a full-length video on it because it's quite an interesting story, at least for me, getting into it. And I thought, what perfect timing, because I'm going to be turning 20 on October 10th, and then I'm going to be saying goodbye to the teen years. And the teen years are when teen slash like younger years were when I got into anime. So I was like, wow, such a long time has passed since I got into this whole anime hobby-ish thingy that's very interesting. And actually, a short announcement before I talk about whatever I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm actually going to be attending Yaoi Con October 6th. It's in Santa Clara, California. I don't know, I'm pretty sure most of my viewers are young, so you can't really attend that convention because it's an 18 plus convention, but it's gonna be fun. And I'll either be, but if the off chance that you are 18, sorry for my rambling, then I'll be there only on the Friday of Yaoi Con, and I'll be either dressed up as Yuri Katsuki or Kai Suranuma for Kiss Him Not Me with my friend Alison, who's going to be attending with me. And it all depends on whether or not I get my wig on time, because if not, then of course I'm going to do the Yuri because I already have the stuff ready for that one. But just expect a vlog to come out from that, and also a haul. But I don't know how much I'm actually going to get because it's an 18 plus convention, so I'm going to do some stuff there. So with that, let us get to the actual story or bulk of this video, which is how I got into anime. So to preface, actually, I have to tell you guys a little bit about me because it makes sense too, right? Anyways, so I actually wasn't born in the USA. I was born in the Philippines, and I just moved here when I was 4 years old. So that is also why I can like speak and understand Tagalog. So if I have any Tagalog or Filipino subscribers, you can talk to me, I'll understand. But besides the point, because I lived in the Philippines, anime at the time there wasn't as popular as it is now, because now there's like anime, like huge anime festivals there, anime stores like Comic Alley, and they also have a lot of other like fandom related things that happen there. Like, I think Filipinos are one of the most craziest fans or people that get into like fandoms like a lot. They're like very crazy about them. I don't know, just my opinion from like whenever like someone goes there. But besides the point, because I was in the Philippines and it wasn't that big at the time, and since it wasn't as big as the time, most of the things I got stuck watching were like Powerpuff Girls and Teletubbies. And that's why I also missed out on a lot of the shows that were in the US when I was young. So that was like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Sailor Moon, and a little bit more of those anime. So I never got to really watch that as a kid. But my dad actually is a huge anime fan. Even before I was born, he liked the old stuff like Astro Boy, Speed Racer, and Voltron's 5, which is technically, I think, Voltron. They just renamed it in the Philippines. And the old version of Voltron, not the new one that I really like. And also wasn't also just a fan of the old stuff. Like now he's still a huge fan of anime. Like he's probably watched even more than I have, and sometimes we talk about it and we have like similar tastes in anime. Like he really likes Haikyuu, and that's why he was the reason I started watching Haikyuu, because he was like, yeah, that's a good anime, and I started watching and I was like, oh, it is good. And he also like watches other stuff like Kuroko no Basket, and the reason why he started watching Free Eternal Summer is because he saw me dressing up as Ko. So it's weird knowing that he knows Free, and like, you know, if you watch Free, you know that's what Free is about. But though that might seem like irrelevant, it becomes relevant in the later part of the story, which I will get into. And so when I was 4, I moved to the US in California, and because we were just new to the area, we didn't really have that much money, so we had to cut a lot of costs, and one of those costs was television. And we did have television because I'm pretty sure I would have like gone crazy when I was young, and my mom would have gone crazy too, because she was the one staying at home at the time, because my sister was just born and she had a 4-year-old, and it's really hard to go to work and no one was really there to watch us that often. So one of the costs she caught was television, but the channels that actually cost money and weren't free and provided by the government, so that included like Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon, which had like the 3 like cartoon shows and had like anime like somewhere in one of them, but mostly Cartoon Network had the anime. And that's why I was really just stuck watching like the shows on television channels that were free. So like W Kids, which had X-Men Evolution, I believe, and that's why I got into that whole thing of X-Men. And also 4Kids TV, which had Mew Mew Power, or Tokyo Mew Mew as it is, Sonic X, Magical Doremi. And at the time when I was watching them, I really didn't register in my mind that, oh yeah, that's an anime, I just watched it. But the first time that I realized something was an anime was when my dad took me to Blockbuster, because he had a Blockbuster membership, because even though we didn't have channels, he thought maybe we could just get a membership so we can buy or like rent movies that we can't really watch on TV. And for people who don't know, because I might have younger viewers, so Blockbuster is basically a Netflix where you actually have to go in physically to get the movies to rent out, and if they didn't have it, then sorry, you can't get that movie. But in this particular Blockbuster that I went with my dad, they had a small anime section, and one of the movies was actually Sailor Moon Promise of a Rose. And I was looking at the box because I was like, man, that is such a pretty box, and like she's a girl. I've never seen anything here that had like cartoon characters that had girls on them, except Pokemon, but I couldn't really watch that, even though I would watch bits and pieces of it when I went to my cousin's house when they actually had cable. But that was the first time that I actually was like, wow, really interested into something that was anime, because my dad did like anime, he was like, oh yeah, that's an anime, it's called Sailor Moon, because he kind of generally knew the art style, and he was right, it was an anime. And I like watched the heck out of all the Sailor Moon movie that it was, I remember the Power of Love, which was the song that was in The Promise of the Rose. And from that point on, my dad started renting me Sailor Moon DVDs that came out on Blockbuster if they had it, and then I would watch them. And that's how I got into Sailor Moon, but I wasn't really registering still that it was an anime, even though my dad had told me it was an anime. And even though I really liked Sailor Moon, I wasn't able to like talk about it with my other like classmates, because they like knew about it but they weren't as into it as me. And I was like, man, I feel so bad, because I really want to talk about these shows but no one is really into them. And this is when I was like in 3rd grade, so time has passed after like me being 4 years old. And when I moved to the 4th grade, I had moved to a different school, and that's where I started meeting people that did actually like anime. But I don't know, I had a crisis, because I think I was like triggered from my old like school friends that didn't really know what Sailor Moon was, and I was trying to be a hipster at this time, because I was like, my dad really likes Naruto and all these animes, but no one really cares about them. Maybe I shouldn't care about them too. And I was like, what? Because I just don't know what I was thinking when I was younger. I think I was trying to fit in. And when I'm probably in the middle of my transition from 3rd to 4th grade, my dad was watching Naruto. That's why I mentioned it in the previous one. And I was like, why are you watching that? I mean, I'm never gonna get into that kind of stuff, even though I did like Sailor Moon. But I was starting to like hate it because no one knew what it was. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't like it, even though I really did. And I remember telling that to my dad, I'm never gonna get into anime. But boy, was I wrong, because oh my god, look at my life right now. And I think in the off chance that I didn't have anything to watch TV, I started watching Naruto to see how it was and be like, see, it's not that good. But then it ended up being really good, and then that's how I got into Naruto a lot. And by the time I moved to 4th grade, I had met my best friend Nancy, who's still my best friend now, and we're still friends even though we're like almost 20 together. And then she was like, oh, I know what Sailor Moon is. And then we started like talking about all these animes. Like we shared the likes of like Tokyo Mew or Mew Power, and like Sonic X and all those animes on 4Kids, and like old animes like Sailor Moon and stuff. So I started to like anime, and we would watch anime together because we gotten so close. And at the time, Crunchyroll was still an illegal site, so a lot of the animes that came from Japan, some people would like fan sub it. And one of the animes that we really liked watching together was Shukuchara, because they were around the same age as us, and I thought that's really cool. And I had a really huge crush on Ikito, and she had a huge crush on Ikito, and that's how we started like watching animes together. And ever since then I've started watching all those animes until we here today, where I'm like talking to myself into a camera about anime and etc. And a lot of the times people ask me, am I ever gonna get out of anime? And the simple answer is like, no, of course not. I've spent so much money on this room that I can't get out of it. But in all seriousness, like I don't think I ever am, just because I've met so many people and so many of my friends, my closest friends, through anime. Like I was like rewatching my old 18th birthday video, and like all their speeches were like, I met Erica because of anime, I met Erica because of anime, I met Erica because of anime. And I've never really realized that anime was a big part of how I made friends. Like I do have friends that don't like anime and like other things, but a majority of my friends are, and I've never even expected to make friends online that liked anime. Like a lot of my YouTube friends, they have anime related channels, and I never expected to actually make friends online. And that's the reason why I don't think I'm ever gonna get out of anime. So yeah, so that is my story of how I got into anime. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have a story of how you got into anime, don't be afraid to leave it in the comment box below, and I would love to read it because everyone's story is very different. And I always think about my story and like, why did karma bite me so bad in the back when I told my dad I didn't want to get into it, but now look at this, look, like, really. Even though it's a good thing, sometimes I think when I estimate the cost of how much I spent on this hobby, I'm just like, but again, thank you so much you guys for watching this video, and hope you enjoyed it, and thanks again. I just said that twice. And yeah, thanks again. Oh, 3 times. And see you next time. Bye!